Although the price for natural gas has been broadly sideways for much of the last 5 months or so, we have seen a sizable rally off the April lows. So just how much further does this have to go? Or already is it starting to run out of steam? I think natural gas is always an interesting market for traders. We see plenty of volatility over the years. We did have, I think, the end of a downtrend last year. From June of last year, the price went from 150, then more than doubled into November. Since then, we've seen somewhat scrappy, choppy trading. And you can see here just how sideways it's been if we take it back to November of last year. 3 has been something of a problem for natural gas in trying to break this level. But I'm wondering, is there more to come? So I thought in this video, let's take a look at things in more depth, what the next month could hold, and see if there's a trade to do. We do have a trade running at the moment. So all of these have been added, I think, in recent videos we did in natural gas. If I close it down, we can see what is a consolidated position. So overall, long 2,000, up about £600 on the trade so far. I've moved the stop loss to lock in the profit, but also to give the market a bit more room if there's furthers to go. But I'm wondering, should we be thinking about adding to the position here if we see a break of 3? Is it time to get out? Let me talk about what's been driving gas, and we'll come back and look at it in more detail. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and I thought we'd do an update on natural gas because we have seen something of a move over the last few weeks. So as usual in this video, I'll talk a bit about what to look out for natural gas. We've got that existing trade running. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll jump back onto the platform and see if there's a new opportunity to trade natural gas. As usual, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel. And also now, of course, on Fridays at 2:30 in the afternoon, we run these regular live streams where we look at lots of different markets. If you're subscribed with the alarm bell notification clicked, you get a notification off YouTube just as we're about to go live. Okay, let's get into it and catch up with what's been happening with natural gas. So just to recap a bit on the recent history, 2020 ended up being quite a volatile year for the price of natural gas, with the cash price trading down to its worst levels since 2016. Then a reversal in fortunes, trading up to 18-month highs by the autumn. So a fair bit of volatility in the price of gas as usual. This year perhaps has not been as exciting so far. So if we took a medium-term look at what natural gas has been doing, I think we're trading broadly sideways over the last 4 or 5 months. But saying that, we have seen the price gain by around 20% off the April low. So we have seen a much sharper move in the short term. The question is, how much further is there left to go? There is going to be some scheduled pipeline maintenance in the US. So this is going to result in a decline in gas production. You know, some people think that's something that could help support the price. But I always think if these events are known, then probably the impact on the price is going to be fairly negligible. But as a result of this, as a result of a slight drop-off in production, it's unlikely we're going to see inventories, stockpiling effectively of natural gas increase in May. So this could be something to watch to see how do traders react, and is it something else that helps at least support the price, if not push it higher. So the most recent trend, I said about that sharp move off the April lows, the most recent trend is up. But if we go back to November, we look at the last 6 months or so, the price of gas has really struggled with the 3 level. It's been a real barrier to any further progress. So given where it's trading now, I think perhaps we have to be a little bit concerned as to how much upside is left. But we'll take a look at the charts in a second and see if we can figure out something to do. Before we do that, let's talk about the levels to watch. The most obvious one is that 3 level. It's the high from the 28th of April, so the end of last month. After that, we've got a level a bit higher from February, again confirming what a problem it's been up here. We've got various support levels left on the way up from this rally. For me, probably the most immediate support comes in around $2.73 from the 3rd week of April. But as usual, to put some colour on these numbers, let's take a look at the chart and see where the opportunities might be. As I said, we do get some big swings, sort of medium term for natural gas. We had the move off the lows in June of last year, trading up to what, 343 into October. Then the sell-off, it looked like it was building another recovery. That sort of ran out of steam into March. But again, we've had this move since April. So I thought, well, what can we look at next when it comes to natural gas? Let's take a look at some of the technical indicators, then we'll focus on the price action. So I've got a 20-day moving average on here. It does a reasonable job when the market's trending of generating buy and sell signals. The last buy signal we had, I suppose you'd have to go back 11th of April as the price moved through 260. It was suggesting a new trend was starting. That has proved to be the case so far. That moving average is sitting around about 283, 284 at the moment. If we take a look at the RSI down here, you can see it's been pretty overheated. The RSI first went overbought middle of April as the price moved through 280. And as I often say in strong trending markets, the RSI will give us an extreme reading a bit too quickly. But it is suggesting at the moment that perhaps the price is a little bit overcooked up here at these levels. And also, I think what's more important for me is the price action. You know, if we go back to, November last year, this rally ran out of steam ahead of 3. In Feb of this year, the cash price for a couple of days managed to hold above 3, but then reversed. So I'd just be a little bit wary, considering that in the last week or so, it's traded up to 3 almost on the nose and has run out of steam once more. So I think if I didn't have a position on it at the moment, probably the sensible trade is to sit back and wait to see if 3 gets broken. But I'd still like to place an order just in case that happens. So let's take a look at the shorter term view for gas. So I flipped this over to an hourly chart and you can see that trend off the early April lows. It's done a great job. You can see the erratic moves in the price of gas. We get these sudden surges and the price just goes sideways. But overall, that trend line has been doing a decent job. You know, the trend line's coming in, well, pretty much around 290 at the moment. That was the lows from late April. So for me, perhaps the trade now, I need to look at the existing positions and think about cranking my stop loss up probably a lot tighter, but also look at the potential for a new position as well. I think if it can break 3 properly, whatever properly means, we could well see further gains. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put an order in to buy if the price trades up to 305. So if it manages a decisive move through 3, I want to get in. When it comes to a stop loss, the closest I'd want it is the other side of 290. But given the volatility of natural gas, I think I maybe need to give it a bit more room. The widest I want it is probably down here, the April the 26 lows, down at 278. So perhaps let's split the difference and go for a stop in at 284. So I'm going to be a buyer if it gets to 305 and put a stop in at 284. Let's set that order up. So I'm ready to go. The price at the moment is trading at 297.8. I'm going to buy 1650 if the market gets to 305. So I need to see strength and I need to see that 3 level broken. If that order gets filled, put a stop loss 21 away, down at 284, and that's for our normal risk of around £250. We'll see how that plays out. Let's place the order, then we'll look at the existing position. So my order's in, buying 1650 if it gets to 305. And perhaps if it can finally crack this 3 level, we could see a run back up to those late October highs up at 340. If it does start moving, I'd move the stop. But let's take a look at the existing stops. So the various trades I've got at the moment, the stops are all in at 275. And I am perhaps a little bit concerned that we could see a bit of weakness from there. I'm going to knock those stops up and I'm going to put those stops up to that recent support was 290. Let's say I'm going to go 285 for the stops on these in case we see a sell-off over the next few days and the market just falls away from 3. So I've updated all those stops now. So they're all in at 285. And I do think that May could end up being a really interesting one for natural gas. We've seen it run out of steam so often up at these levels over the last 5 or 6 months. Is it going to happen again? If it sells off, I'll take my profits on the existing positions. But if it breaks out, I'm going to buy in and we'll see if this thing can push higher still. That's it for the update in natural gas. We'll see if it can crack through and go on to even more gains, or perhaps has it gone far enough for now? We'll come back and do an update and see how things fared. But for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your trading. For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.